Hey everyone, it's Job. I hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to show you how I journal about the books that I'm reading. You could say this is a book journal, but this is actually my diary in which I journal about tarot, my books that I'm reading, some shows that have made a really big impact on me, as well as general deepest, darkest thoughts. Just kidding. But in reality, this is kind of like a catch-all journal, and I will journal about, more difficult things or not fun things or things that have made me upset. So it's a private look into, I guess, my life. But obviously, I don't show this journal quite a bit, but I do actually journal about my books that I'm reading in here. And this is actually an A6 size Thumping notebook. This is the universal notebook. Thumping is actually a Paris-based brand, and I'm using the Superior Labor A6 cover. This is the natural leather cover. I absolutely love this cover. I think it's one of my favorite covers that I own outside of my traveler's notebooks. It's such a lovely, supple, and soft leather, and it's just like really nice to look at. I don't know, it's so satisfying. But just to preface everything, I've actually sped this journal, I guess these series of journal with me's I think it's like 700 times speed, because we have like 5 books that we have to document today, because I finished 5 books. Or actually, I didn't finish them recently. I just have had no time to actually create these book journal spreads. But what I'm showing you right now is for the book Call Me By Your Name by André Aciman, or Aciman. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but I really enjoyed this book. I have not read any like romance, so I did not know what to expect. I don't really know a lot about different genres. I always grew up reading YA fiction. That was my genre, and then as an adult I'm trying to figure out what I like, and so I wanted to try Call Me By Your Name, and holy crap, this book is so good. The yearning and the way it was written, it's so beautifully written. And you'll see I actually decided to read the second book, or like the follow-up novel for this, which, spoiler alert, I didn't really like. But as you can see, I actually did my journaling on a library card, and every time I do one of these, I call these book reports actually. It's kind of like a book journal spread, but it's a review / book report. So I give my thoughts about the book in the little typewritten library card. I did that off screen because I take a while when I'm typewriting, and I make a whole bunch of mistakes and grammatical and spelling errors. So I just wanted to save you all the trouble from that. But I actually spent quite a bit of time typewriting my 5 different book reviews for the 5 journal spreads that we're working on. And then generally I'll do a 2-page spread, or like a full spread, with the library card as a tip-in. And then underneath the tip-in, I will write a quote or something that I enjoy from the book. But usually I'll write a quote that I like. And then I chose this lovely quote, and I'm just using the Fooded Touch. No, this is the Pentel Touch sign pen. I'm getting the name of it wrong, but I really love this pen, and I love this specific shade. But I love this quote. I really like the last part, which is you make me like who I am, or something like that. It's such a nice quote, but I really like this book. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. But we're moving very quickly onto the next book report. So as you can see, I have my typewritten library card review. I made sure that there's a space at the top of the card so I can glue it down properly and have it as a tip-in where I fold it up, and then the other side is kind of free reign. But the main aspect, main things that I need to have in this journal spread to make it a book review, is the book name, the author, the date it was started, the date that I finished the book, as well as my rating, and then obviously the review, which is on the typewritten library card. But for this book, this is actually Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This is by a Japanese author, which I'm blanking the name of. I think it's Toshikazu. Oh no, I don't remember. I'm sorry. Let me just zoom in. Oh, my hands. Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I'm sorry. I think I might have butchered their name. I apologize. But I'll leave obviously the names of the titles of the books that I mentioned in the description bar below. This was such a lovely book. This was a nice change of pace. This is all about love, families. I think this actually centers around 4 smaller stories, but the whole premise of this book is amazing. It's about a coffee shop that allows you to time travel back to a certain time, or time travel forward to a certain time, but the person that you want to visit has to have had coffee in the same coffee shop with you in the past, so you can visit them, as well as I think there's a whole bunch of different conditions, but it's all about, you know, love, perseverance, and like maybe not fate, but like knowing that, you know, everything happens for a reason. And it was such a nice book. I thought it was a pretty slow start, honestly, but towards the end I really liked it, and I found it very heartwarming. And the author was really, really good about kind of weaving these little Easter eggs that kind of come up, I guess, yeah, little hints about what's gonna come in the later half of the book, and then the payoff is always nice when they kind of sprinkle in something that you're like, huh, what is this about? And then later on it pays off in terms of the plot and like character development. I'm trying to be very vague because I don't want to give any spoilers, but I really like that. I think it was a higher rating. I think it was in the 4 or 4.5 star category. I think it would have been higher if the first kind of small, not short story, but like the first story that was introduced was a little bit stronger. It wasn't my favorite. I almost actually didn't continue reading the book because of the beginning, but please persevere if you're gonna read it. And then I read the sequel to Call Me by Your Name. It was meh. It was like a 3-star read. I really enjoyed creating this journal spread because I forgot to say that I actually print out these little like stickers of the book cover, and I try to make sure that the book cover of the edition that I read is the one that I'm using. I wanted to read more of André Aciman's work because his writing is just so nice. It's like the yearning is so good, but this just fell kind of flat for me. I was just like, just give me the main part. All the other parts of the story, I'm like, I was just waiting for Elio and Oliver to get reunited, but yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but it was an all right read. But while I was working on that, I realized the Before the Coffee Gets Cold doesn't have any coffee elements, so I went back and added a little Chemex sticker that I had. And then again, I'm looking through my little capsule of washi tapes to see if there's anything nice. I went through my sticker book that is housed in my traveler's notebook, and I found this little postage stamp sticker that I thought would go nicely with the color scheme of this spread, which is kind of like beige, orange, and like burnt sienna, like dark orange, which is I think my favorite color palette, period. Like a good mustard yellow and a dark orange are my favorite colors together. And then I found this really nice quote. It was really long, but I thought I would write it out, and I went for like a messy handwritten look. Sometimes I do not trust the process, but as I kept going, I was like, yeah, I just gotta trust the process, and I thought it turned out all right. I feel like when you do this kind of messy, loose handwriting, kind of looks not great at the beginning, but if you commit to it as a whole, when you look at it as a big body of text, I think it looks pretty good. But yeah, like I did in the past few spreads, I put a little quote underneath the tip-in of my library card, and I think it's nice because all of your necessary information is on the library card, and then everything else on the spread just gives you like little hints and tidbits about things that you like. So like there's the quote, and then the rating, and then obviously the date that I started and finished the book. So this one was a 3-star read. Skip it if you've read Call Me By Your Name, and totally skip it if you haven't read Call Me By Your Name, because this wouldn't even make sense. But yeah, I enjoyed working on this spread specifically, and it was nice to kind of use a color palette that I enjoyed, because I think for the past few spreads I was using like a bluish, grayish theme. And then I wanted to use again these stamps. This is from Everyday Explorers Co. This is like the book centric one, and I really like it. I just don't use it a lot because I realize that this set has more kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Like I think I need a stamp set that has like currently reading stamps and stickers, whereas this is more about like finished books, and I'm a pretty slow reader, so I guess I'm not like finishing books left and right, but yeah, I still really like that set. I just need to look at other sets to kind of fill out my book stamp collection. And then, oh my gosh, this book, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Oh my gosh, I read this in like a day. I think I started reading it like maybe a week before or something, like here and there, and then I finished it in one day. So I consider this like a one-day read because I feel like I read chapters like 2 to like the end in one go. It was so good. Taylor Jenkins Reid is also the author of Malibu Rising and Daisy Jones and the Six, which I have on my TBR or to be read list. But I really enjoyed this book. It's about a fictional Hollywood actress named Evelyn Hugo, and it just documents her life and the 7 husbands that she's had over time. There's a lot of like mystery wrapped up around her life, and oh my gosh, this was a page turner. This was actually one of the books that I was like, wow, I didn't know how fast I could read because I read it in a day. I absolutely enjoyed it. I think if you want something to kind of kickstart your reading habit, read this. So good. So many twists and turns, and you're just like, I feel like just when I thought I knew everything, I was like, oh, this is how she's gonna finish it. Nope, she just takes it a different direction. And yeah, hands down, one of the best books I've read. I think this was a 5-star read. So good. I highly recommend it. I can't say it enough. And then I went for a more of a green theme because the cover had a green cover, and Evelyn Hugo wears a lot of green. And then I mixed in some of this teal as well, just because I didn't have a nice true green stamp ink. I do have like an olivey, it's called Decayed Leaf from Sachihara. It's one of my favorite stamp inks ever, actually. But I wanted something a little bit brighter, so I used the teal ink, which is, I think, kind of draws some of the colors from the washi tape that I'm using, which I peeled back because I needed more room for the quote. But that tape is from BK from Baumkuchen Studios. But yeah, this is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And then we're on our last spread. This one is actually the first graphic novel that I think I've read as an adult. No, I think I've read Amulet for school, just because it's a good graphic novel for students, but I haven't read one as an adult. And I honestly, I feel like recommend this for teens actually. But this is Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Osman. This is actually adapted to a TV show on Netflix right now, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it's larger than life. A lot of people are really into Heartstopper, just like I am, and it was so good. I've never read any graphic novels, and I haven't read like a teen coming of age LGBTQ plus love story before. So this was a nice change from everything. And again, I've been reading like non-graphic novel books, so this was like a nice intro to the world of graphic novels. Again, if you have any recommendations for books or graphic novels, let me know, because this was so good. This is a 4.5-star read. And I feel like with graphic novels, you can read them so quickly. I think I read like the first one again in a day, or like in an afternoon. It's just nice, light fare, and this just gives you the warm, fuzzy feels. And as you can tell, my whole aesthetic for this video has highly been inspired by Alice Osman's illustration style, just because, you know, the leaves in Heartstopper were so influential in like the graphic novel that I thought I would carry it into today's video. And so all the transitions, the intro, I like hand animated the leaves kind of flying around, and I'm really inspired by this story and this like this graphic novel. Like I haven't, again, like I said earlier, I haven't read any graphic novels before as an adult, and they're so good. Why am I not reading comics? And I was really inspired in general. Like I think I've used like this motif, or like this, I don't know, this lettering style, this doodling style a lot in my personal weekly illustrated journal in my traveler's notebook passport size. I haven't really shown that here a lot, but if you're following me on Instagram, I've been doing a lot of work like doodles and illustration work in my weekly insert in my passport size traveler's notebook, just because it's nice to make a little comic about your day-to-day life. And I'm totally in like a graphic novel or graphic novel phase and an Alice Osman phase, because Heartstopper the book and Heartstopper the TV show are amazing. Highly recommend it. I should probably document that in my media journal, but I haven't gotten around to doing it. And for today's for this spread, it was a little bit more, I don't know, graphic or illustrated, I guess, because I didn't do any collaging and I just did that little doodle of, I was gonna say Elio and Oliver. This is oh man, I'm forgetting their names already. Nick and Charlie. And I think it turned out great. This is actually inspired by like one of the first few pages in the comic or the graphic novel. And then I gave it a rating, which was 4.5 stars. And then I went for a cooler toned palette. I'm using that same teal dot marker that I was using earlier, and then I'm using this mild liner. This is a little bit of a teal minty color as well for all of the shadows. And honestly, I'm like on this like cool toned blue mint kick right now, even though mint's probably one of my least favorite colors, but one of my favorite ice cream flavors. But yeah, I absolutely enjoyed working on this. And then I didn't know what quote to choose for this because it was a little bit harder because it's a graphic novel. There's more drawings in it, so I just gave a little review or continued my review, but I wanted to make it look like the end pages of Heartstopper Volume 1, because there's these little kind of like diary entries written by the characters, and I thought it looked really cool. So it's a little bit meta. There's a drawing of a piece of paper with more journaling on it on this spread, but I think it kind of wraps the whole aesthetic of this Heartstopper spread all together. And these are the completed pages. I know I was talking at a whirlwind speed. I didn't really get to explain a lot of the process of the journaling, but as you can tell, it's a little bit more of like simple journaling with minimal elements and pages. I think there's only like a little spot collage in each journal spread, and then obviously the last spread is the most involved because there was some doodling involved. But I highly recommend this method of documenting the books that you've read, because it helps you remember the book a little bit more, and it makes the reading experience even more personal. Because I don't know about you, but when I journal about something, it helps me remember things more. And the largest problem that I had before was actually remembering the books that I've read, just because you move so quickly on to the next one, or life happens. But this kind of seals in your thoughts and your opinions about a book at a certain time and when you just finished it, so it keeps it really fresh, and it's just a nice way to kind of extend your journaling practice into other parts of your life or other interests that you have. It was nice kind of like colliding my two hobbies right now, which is reading and journaling, in one kind of project. And I will continue to do these book reports in the future as well. Let me know if you journal about the books that you've read and how do you do it, because I would love to know. I would actually want to try and kind of refine my system a little bit more to see if there are more efficient or fun ways to journal about my books and my reading habit. But yeah, leave that in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. I love you so much. Bye-bye.